When every door slams shut. What will you do, give up, or keep walking in the dark? There are moments when life throws you to the very bottom. Just to see if you still have the strength to stand back up. This story isn't just something you read and forget. It's a mirror held right up to your heart. Forcing you to ask yourself. Have I truly lived to the fullest, or have I just been existing? The lesson here could change the way you see the rest of your life. When you're thrown into the dark, the first instinct most people have is fear. The heart races. The breath quickens. And the mind is flooded with one question. Why me? The man in this story was no different. He once had it all. A stable job. Relationships filled with laughter. And an unwavering belief that tomorrow would always be bright. But then, the storm hit. Suddenly. Without warning. He lost his job. He lost his direction. He even lost the people he thought would always stay by his side. In the early days, he sank into an invisible emptiness. Each morning felt like a battle with himself. To get up. Or to pull the blanket over his head and let the world spin on without him. He realized the deepest pain wasn't losing what he had, but feeling like he no longer had any worth at all. Then one afternoon, while wandering down a small street, he stumbled upon a sign. Shoe repair, 20 years of experience. Behind the counter sat an old man. Hands calloused. Eyes slow but steady. Nobody seemed to notice him. Yet every stitch he sewed carried a lifetime of persistence. When asked why he still did this work, even though so few people needed it anymore, the old man simply smiled. Because every pair of worn-out shoes still deserves a chance to walk again. Those words cut through the fog in his mind like a blade. He realized, he was just like those old shoes. Worn and frayed. But still capable of being mended to keep moving forward. From that moment, he decided not to let the past define his future. He began learning new skills. Taking on small jobs. And allowing himself to fail. As long as he never quit. The pain didn't vanish overnight. But little by little, he found the light again. And he understood. It's in the darkness that we learn how to create our own light. From the day he decided to stand up, he knew the road ahead wouldn't be lined with roses. But this time, he no longer expected it to be easy. He treated every challenge as a brick to rebuild himself. At first, everything was awkward. The new skills he learned felt clumsy. Every project he tried seemed to fail. Some laughed. Some shook their heads. Some even told him to settle instead of wasting his efforts. But deep down, he knew. If he stopped now, he'd slip back into the old darkness. A place where hope no longer existed. He remembered the old shoemaker. Every stitch, slow but steady. Strong and patient. He applied the same lesson to himself. Don't chase speed. Focus on doing each step well. Each day, he read books, practiced skills, and sought out people who could inspire and teach him. Month by month, the results began to change. The small jobs he took on started to flow more smoothly. The first client said thank you. Then the second. Then the third. He realized his worth wasn't in position or fame, but in the ability to genuinely help others. At the same time, he began sharing his story with people going through tough times. Not for pity, but to show them that you can lose everything, but never lose faith in yourself. Every time he saw someone's eyes light up after hearing his words, he felt that his journey had been worth it. In the end, he understood. The greatest victory isn't having more than anyone else. It's overcoming the weak version of yourself. And if darkness had once been a prison, now it was proof. of the strength he had found within. When he looked back on the journey he'd traveled, everything seemed like one long dream. From someone who once seemed destined to collapse forever, he had become living proof of the power of will. But what he valued most wasn't the achievements. It was the new person who had formed inside him. He realized that hardships don't come to destroy us, but to refine us. They strip away illusions and dependencies, forcing us to confront our true selves. When you hit rock bottom, there's nothing left to lose. And it's exactly then that you can dare to do the impossible. The lesson he took away was simple, yet profound. Life doesn't guarantee anyone a smooth path. Storms are inevitable, but we can choose how we move through them. Some people will sit and wait for the rain to stop. Others, like him, learn to walk even while it pours. He began to cherish every moment, even those that seemed meaningless. Each morning, he no longer asked, "Will today be easy?" Instead, he asked, "How strong will I be today?" That mindset freed him from fear of the dark, because he knew he carried his own light within. Now, when someone says they can't change, he simply smiles and shares his story. No exaggeration, no grand words. Just one truth. If a pair of worn-out shoes can be mended to walk again, so can a human being heal and move forward. Deep down, he understood. The greatest measure of a life isn't how many years we live, but how we rise after every fall. Because in the end, only those who dare to stand again can keep moving toward where they truly belong. When the story comes to an end, what remains isn't just the image of someone overcoming adversity, but the message he leaves for anyone struggling through a storm. He isn't a hero. He doesn't possess any extraordinary powers. He's just an ordinary person who chose not to give up when everything in his life fell apart. And that's the secret to change. You don't have to wait for the perfect moment. You don't have to be completely ready. All you need is a decision to take a step forward, even if it's just a small one. Each step builds strength, until you realize how far you've come from where you started. He often tells those who come to him for advice, "Don't think about the whole journey, think about the next step." Because he knows, when you face a mountain, if you only stare at the peak, you'll feel too small to climb. But if you focus on placing each step firmly, one day, you'll look up and realize you're standing high above. Looking down. Life will keep testing us. There will be days when every effort feels meaningless, when every door seems closed. But if a worn-out pair of shoes can be repaired to keep walking, there's no reason a heart full of scars cannot find a new path forward. In the end, his story isn't meant to be admired. It's meant so that someone, somewhere, when they hear it, will believe. I can too. Because true strength doesn't lie in promises of tomorrow. It lies in today's choice. The choice to stand up, even when your legs are still trembling. Each time he shares his journey, he doesn't dwell on the pain, but on the strength that pain gave him. He understands that without those dark days, he would never have realized how bright his inner light truly shines. He often looks back on the path he's traveled and smiles. Not because everything is perfect now, but because he knows he has grown stronger than any version of himself before. He no longer fears loss, because he has learned to rebuild from zero. He no longer fears failure, because every stumble is just a lesson to take the next step more firmly. What brings him the greatest happiness isn't personal success, but the fact that he has become a source of inspiration for others. He sees himself in the determined eyes of a newly unemployed young man, in the relieved smile of a girl who has just gotten over a breakup. Every time someone says they feel stronger because of his story, he feels that his journey has never been in vain. From these experiences, he draws one conclusion. No one can live your life for you. And no one can rise in your place. Help, advice, and encouragement are just sparks. Keeping the fire alive is up to you. And once you light that fire, you realize that you are not only strong enough to illuminate your own path, but you can also light the way for others. Because in the end, the value of a life isn't measured by how many times you fall, but by how many times you rise. And if an ordinary person like him can turn darkness into strength, then anyone, even you, can do it too. Starting from this very moment. His story isn't just the journey of one person. It's a mirror reflecting the hidden strength within all of us. We all have days when it feels like everything is falling apart. But in those moments, you have a choice. Let the darkness consume you, or light a fire within yourself. He chose to rise. And from that small decision, a new life unfolded. No miracles needed, no magic. Just the belief that he deserved to keep moving forward. If you're reading these words and feeling lost, remember, every crack is a place for light to shine through. And sometimes, all it takes is one more step. No matter how small, to find yourself stronger than before. Because life rewards those who dare to rise. And that reward is you. No longer the person you once were.